Mic'd up.
All right, boys and girls, we seem to have had technical difficulties. Adam and I just finished a show, and for some reason, I don't think it recorded, and I think it was my fault, ladies and gentlemen. I will take the full blame for this. This is not on Kramer, but I will recap what we talked about as quickly as I can. Yankees got swept today. They deserved to get swept today. What we talked about was basically why they got swept today. And ultimately, what it came down to was the Yankees can't hit good pitching. The Yankees' bottom of the order stunk up to high heaven. The Rays have a bottom of the order where they have a bunch of guys who make excellent contact on fastballs, and the Yankees kept throwing them fastballs, and they kept making contact. And when they needed to, they bunted guys over, and the Yankees' bottom of the order can't bunt guys over. As an example, the Yankees' bottom of the order for the series went 4 for 36 with 3 RBIs, all of them by Caballero, all of them in one game. No walks. The Rays went 10 for 33 with walks, couple of walks, 7 runs scored, and 2 RBIs. But they also bunted guys over. They suicide squeezed over. They did all sorts of right things that they needed to do. And the Yankees did not do that. Now, the Yankees are not built to do that. So they can't do that. The guys on the team won't do that even if asked. Should a guy like Jazz Chisholm, who has never batted above 256 in his career and last year went 30 for 30 home runs and 30 stolen bases, be a player who should be slapping the ball around and doing that? Yes, but he has never been that way even before he was on the Yankees. So there's no reason to believe that he should be doing it now that he's on the Yankees. Ryan McMahon has not done anything for the Yankees. He had a great at bat in the 8th inning to help them come back in the game partially, or try to come back in the game partially, but then he made the last out on the first pitch. The other half of the thing is this, is why are the Rays able to play that type of baseball and the Yankees aren't? Well, is it based on the fact that the Yankees have a $300 million salary and they just go out and get guys that they need to have the high OPS, and the Rays have a $60 or $70 million salary and they got to do what they got to do with the talent they have? Well, guess what? Every team should be doing what they do with the talent that they have. They shouldn't be turning players into something that they're not. Adam and I talked about in the show that never got published, we talked about the fact that, guys, hitters who were drafted in the first 10 rounds, first 15 rounds, or even drafted at all, since it's a shorter draft than when in the 1980s, when it was like a 70-round draft. Now it's a 30-round or 20-round draft. These guys all have hitting ability. There's no doubt, or they wouldn't be getting drafted. The question is, what are the holes in their game? And how do you develop them so that you either fix their holes or make it so that their strengths are overwhelming so that the holes are covered up? Yankees can't do that. They don't do it at the minor league level that we can see, because when they get to the Yankees, they certainly don't get better, as we've been pointing out. And Kramer said it was the last 6 years in the show on Friday night. I believe it's since 2007 or 2006. Really, only one player has gotten better while he's on the Yankees, and that would be Mr. Judge. Gardner came up, slap hitter, number 9 hitter, was doing great, stealing 50 bases, hitting 270, 280, had a 330, 340 on base percentage, moved him into the leadoff spot, won a World Series. They did a whole bunch of things with him, but then he got home run happy. They haven't even had anybody like Gardner come up through the system. Volpe was supposed to be that kind of guy, but no, he turned into a guy that's, trying to hit the launch angle home run every time. He's not smoking the ball to right center field or hitting a base hit to left center field. He's never bunting for a hit. He's a good bunter. He's probably the best bunter they've had. And he stopped bunting last year. And even before he got hurt his shoulder, he wasn't bunting. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do, because the bottom of the lineup is garbage. The other thing is all the love that we gave Trent Grisham, both Adam and I, has gone out the window. I mean, he is on the season 6 for 45, which is a 133 batting average, and he stopped walking. His on base percentage has gone from close to 400, 394, I think, last time we were giving him love, down to 333. He's not walking. All that love for the first 10 games is gone in the last five. It doesn't make any sense. And Adam said something that surprised me. He said that he's a little concerned about Rice because it's strikeout or hit. There's no middle ground with him. His strikeout percentage is like 28% this year, and it was 18 last year. His walk percentage last year was in the single digits, and it's over 20% so far this year, but that's because nobody's hitting behind him. You got him batting third, Stanton batting fourth is hitting, but nobody else is hitting. Jazz is not really hitting, and then obviously you get to the bottom of the order, and that's really nobody hitting. So he showed a little bit of concern about Mr. Rice. I am actually a little higher on Rice than him, which is a role reversal for us. But I also am of the belief that the Yankees will screw up Rice because they have a track record of that. The bullpen. Joe Girardi did a terrific job pointing out that the Yankees, in this series, had 6 innings where they scored runs. And only once did the Yankees bullpen shut down the Rays in a shutdown inning after the Yankees scored runs. That is not good. And that's going to trouble them the rest of the season. That's not going to be good. Adam, we talked about Bednar. Adam said that Bednar is throwing too many pitches. He's not striking guys out. He's throwing too many pitches. Obviously, you have a situation where Jazz caused him to throw a whole bunch of pitches in Seattle. Yesterday, he came in with the man on second, couldn't strike anybody out. So therefore, he ended up losing the game yesterday. But he's not finishing guys. So therefore, he's throwing more pitches and he's not as available and also not as effective. And I had to agree with that. We talked about Duvall, and I said I was shocked he's only got 1 walk this season. It seems like he never throws a strike. But he pitched well today, got 3 fly balls. Granted, he come in with a man on third and nobody out. Fly ball's not what you're hoping for. You're hoping for grounders, which is what he was supposed to be able to get. He was supposed to be a ground out strikeout guy, but you know what? He pitched effectively today, even though he allowed the fly ball. Adam said, we both had concerns about the relief pitching this season. We both had confidence that except for this past season, 25 and 24, Cashman has been able to fix the bullpen. He has brought in guys, and the bullpen has been fixable. Guys like Ian Hamilton had worked out. Mark Leiter worked out for a year. He brought in Tommy Canley. He brought in a bunch of guys, even Tyler Mazik, who's pitching great for the Phillies, by the way, this year. They brought him in, and he did well. Ryan Yarbrough has done well for them, and they brought him in at the beginning of last season. But, last year it was Bird, Duvall, and Bednar. Bednar pitched well. Duvall didn't pitch well at all, and Bird went back down to the minors. The year before, they were counting on Loizaga, and they were counting on Leiter to be good and Hamilton to be good, but they burnt those guys out, and the guys they brought in in 24 didn't do the job either. Will Cashman do that? What is he going to deal, though, to bring in new bullpen pieces? My issue is the Yankees have excellent starting pitching right now. Obviously, Warren and Fried and Schlittler are not coming out of the rotation no matter what happens here. So what happens when Rodon and Cole come back? Well, first of all, I'd like to say, and Adam acknowledged, Rodon has a very bad history of coming back from injury. He always takes longer to come back from an injury, and when he first comes back, he's tentative and not as good command-wise. Cole, on the other hand, has never had a major injury, but he's pitching in games in the minors. Rodon is first pitching simulated games down in Tampa. I think Cole's going to end up coming back first. I don't know if there's something wrong with Rodon or they're babying him. I don't really care if they baby him because the starting pitching has not been the problem. The question then becomes which of these guys in the minor leagues that the Yankees have, LaGrange, Hampton, Beck, Rodriguez, that are starters are not going to be starters at the major league level. The Yankees have to make some hard decisions there. And at some point, especially if this bullpen keeps faltering, because you can't keep rolling out there Paul Blackburn, can't keep rolling out there inconsistent Duvall, inconsistent Bird, and inconsistent Hedrick, who is definitely a find, but he is going to end up being what he is, which is a reason that he's been released a couple of times by the Twins and the Yankees. So they got to figure out what they're going to do in the bullpen. Cone is a reliever at AAA. He's got strikeout stuff. I think he's going to be the first guy that they bring up to try and fix the bullpen. He's also on the 40-man roster, I believe. So that's the question there. Rodriguez is a starter. He's on the 40-man roster. Beck is on the 40-man roster. He's a starter. Hampton's on the 40-man roster. He's a starter coming off injury. maybe Hampton gets the chance to be in the bullpen first because they need to limit his innings coming off of Tommy John surgery if he can get something good going at the minor league level for a couple of starts. But I think Lagrange is going to be a starter long term. Don't bring him up in the bullpen until you have to if you're in a pennant race come July or come August and you want to bring in a guy and you want him to be a Phil Hughes type where he's going to be a multi-inning guy, keep games close for when a pitcher has a tough outing and you don't really want to stress out the innings of a Schlittler or a Weathers or something like that. The other option is obviously if Cole comes back, does Weathers go back into the bullpen? Weathers in the bullpen in short stints may actually be a good choice because maybe his 96, 97 plays up 98, 99 if he knows he only has to throw 1 or 2 innings. He obviously can have command because his last outing showed he can have it. Heel, on the other hand, is a problem child. The Yankees can't put him in the bullpen because he doesn't have the command to be in the bullpen. He's walking too many guys, throwing too many pitches. Even when he's not walking guys, it takes him too many pitches. He's clearly not striking out guys at the rate that he has. The mistake the Yankees made is they have all of these guys in the minor leagues. They could have brought up one of them, or they could have tried to use Yarborough, or they could have tried to bring in a different guy. And they could have traded Heel, whose value was down after he got injured, but started to rise after he came back last year. Trade him in the offseason and try and get maybe another infielder and go from there. But they didn't do it. Now Heel's value is going backwards. The other thing that they could have done is Suarez. Suarez signed with the Braves for 3 years and $45 million. 3 years and $45 million to be a setup man for Iglesias over in Atlanta. Well, if he was going to sign for 3 years and $45 million, the Yankees could have done that, right? They could have done that, brought him in. There's not a big free agent class coming after 26. I think Bednar is at the top of the class, quite frankly. Kenley Jansen's there. You've got Fairbanks there. You've got Tryman there, but you don't have any real closers long term that are there. So if Suarez was willing to be a setup man for the Braves, why wouldn't he come in and be a setup man for the Yankees at 3 years and $45 million? Well, the Yankees didn't want to spend $15 million on a setup man with a closer in waiting. Again, that comes back to the Grisham mistake. So who knows what the Yankees are going to do with regard to the bullpen. But the bottom of the order is horrendous. The bullpen can't close it down if the Yankees score runs. Grisham has lost his touch as a leadoff hitter. And the Yankees can't play small ball the way Tampa did, and that's why Tampa beat them. They're going to talk about how the Yankees have lost all these one-run games. Good teams win one-run games, right? The schedule doesn't change like it does in football, whereas you should stay close in a season that you have a tough schedule where you're going to be playing against a whole bunch of tough teams and you lose by 3 points to good teams. The next year when your team has a bad record, you're going to be playing teams that had bad records the year before as well, and you're going to be a better team for it. Sort of like what the Bears did this year. They played an easier schedule and they had a really good season. Baseball, you play the same schedule every year. And in baseball, teams don't move that much. Yankees are going to have a $300 million salary. The Mets are going to have a $300 million salary. The Dodgers are going to have a $400 million salary. The Rays are going to be less than 100. The A's are going to be over 100 for the first time ever. The Marlins are going to be below 100. So you know what you're getting into. I just don't think the Yankees are doing well with their money. As Kramer has said, and he said it's only 6 years, I think it's more like 15, and Adam seems to be somewhere in the middle. The roster construction is awful. The money is being spent poorly. And the question is, how much will the Yankees realize that and start to adjust what they're doing to build a lineup? Not build a team of high OPS players, but build a lineup. Slap hitters who can hit the fastball, getting on base, setting the table, moving Judge to be the number 3 hitter. Let a guy like, they don't even have a guy that could be the number 2 hitter. Bellinger would probably be the best number 2 hitter that they have in the lineup. He's a 280 hitter. He's high contact. He doesn't strike out as often as the rest of the guys. Let Judge bat third. Right now, they can't bat Judge second. He doesn't get enough RBI chances. The guys at the bottom of the order are not getting on base for him. So they need to figure out how to get Judge more RBI chances, and that would be to bat him third. It's not like he's losing at bats. He's going to get his 4 at bats every game, whether he bats third or fourth. And the reason he's going to get that the fourth at bat and not a fifth at bat is because the bottom 3 are not hitting. So that's where we ended it. The Yankees have the Angels for 3 games coming in, starting at Yankee Stadium tomorrow night. They got Will Warren pitching the first game. He's a good pitcher. We'll see what the Angels have. They've been playing a little bit better baseball than they have in previous seasons, but the reality is the Angels are still not a good team. And even though they have gotten through 8-8 and the Yankees are 8-7, you know what? The Yankees need to beat teams like the Angels. They needed to not lose 3 games to Tampa, who is now in first place at 8-7, tied with the Yankees and the Orioles. So we'll see what happens here, and we'll go into this week hoping for the best. Adam, sorry you screwed up the show. Hopefully your walk to prison today goes well, so good luck there.